say that we have had the new constitution. We still call it new because it's barely 10 years, and of course now we are celebrating the first decade anniversary. And everyone would note that we have not yet implemented the Constitution of Kenya, 100%. There are still very many details that have not yet been interpreted by the courts. There are so many details that have not been picked out by the different organs and bodies that are involved. But one thing strikes out is the creation of devolved units. That is a devolution that was brought by the constitution, the constitution we're having now. And we are only in the second term of the devolved units. And we have seen immense benefits to the people of this republic. You will recall that in the past we had resources which were being distributed from Nairobi. Everything was at a central place. But today we have an MCA. Today we have a county governor. Today we have a county assembly. And we do not have to go back to Nairobi anymore for some of the things that really trouble the common mwananchi or the ground. A lot of times, an old woman in the village is not so much disturbed or perturbed by the tarmac road that sometimes we think is so important. They are much more interested with a small maram road that they use to go to the market, that they used to go to fetch water, or even to do other important home chores. That is what is of much interest to them. And the fact that we now have devolved units that have been sorting out some of these small and little issues really has made a big impact in Kenyan population. And so, whatever the decisions are made when we look forward to probably any reforms that might happen or any changes to the constitution, it must not touch that aspect of devolution, because we can say this is one of the biggest gains that we have had in our new constitution. And one may really ask, is it necessary truly to do a constitutional review at this moment? And then I think really we are not yet ripe for a constitutional change. I would imagine that what we need to do first is to implement our constitution. If you look at chapter 6, for example, it's one of the chapters in our new constitution that has been given a wide berth. What is it that you're going to do in the new constitution about integrity and prevention of corruption in Kenya that has not been done in this new constitution? I think we need to look back and see where we need to implement what we have today. And once we have done that, for sure, we are likely to have a different Kenya as we move forward. Otherwise, I think we do not need to rush into constitutional changes. And should it be a must that we do that, then we should consider what we call the bare minimum reforms. Not just minimum reforms, but bare minimum reforms. Only changing that which we think is so necessary, especially that which we think is necessary in uniting Kenya, particularly at the very top in terms of sharing of leadership positions, or ensuring that more regional blocks and more regional people are brought into the leadership matrix. I think beyond that, we need to think twice before we put a pen and paper to sign a new constitution to Kenya.
In your own view, do you think that the constitution has actually, or the new constitution has actually served Kenyans the way it should be?
Definitely the new constitution that we have had has not necessarily served Kenyans the way it should be, because it has not been implemented to the letter. If, for example, you look at the police force that was changed from a force to a service, now we have a police service other than a force, and we even brought an oversight institution to police or to oversight the police service. If you look at that, for example, you'll find that it has not worked so well, because the police service that we have so far still acts as a force, and sometimes you actually see it is used for political reasons. So for that reason, I think we have not yet achieved 100% of what we ought to have achieved with this new constitution that we have been having for the last 10 years. So I would say we are yet to derive the full benefits of this constitution. despite having gotten some benefits, especially at the devolution front.
So what should be done to ensure that the loopholes are safe?
Yeah, we just need to implement the constitution and exercise constitutionality, because even if you created 101 constitutions but you don't change the culture and you don't bring the culture of constitutionality and rule of law into a country, then that constitution will not be important to the country. So we need to bring on board the issue of change of culture, rule of law, constitutionality, and institutionalize every services that we offer to the people in a way that we eliminate discrimination, favoritism, and any other acts of unpatriotism. That way is the best way forward in addressing all the problems that we have had bedeviling the implementation of the Constitution.